Our next stage is to remove all this background wood. If I turn this moth over here, I have a little block of wood here, and here's the centre line that goes down it. But of course you might have a full block across here. What we're going to try and do is trying to finish with a square of wood here, somewhere in the middle, a little pin of wood, removing all this here and here and here and here, so that we've got something to hold the moth in the vise as we're carving the back of the wing. So that's our aim, and we can start off by taking some big chunks of wood off here. You can use your bandsaw or a simple handsaw, but the first thing to do is to take some big chunks off this. So my first big slice is going to come across here. Use your thumb to support the handsaw. Take a couple of draw strokes to get yourself a groove going, and very lightly start sawing that off. I've also taken off this corner here, and a little bit off the end. And I want to take a little bit from in here, because I'm going to be cutting down here with a coping saw, so the less here the better. So again, you can see how this vise in the block works. What I'm going to do is make a cut down to the butterfly about here. Important to keep looking. That'll do. Another one here. This bit being short grain should just knock off with a chisel. Let's see. Okay, so that's now a lot of the waste cut away, and the next stage is to come down the edge here and cut all this back bit away. I'm going to use a coping saw for cutting out the moth. Make sure that the handle here is tight and that these pins are in line, and that means the blade isn't twisted. Okay. I've got the moth gripped firmly by the block here in the vise. That's important that it doesn't move. I'm going to start under the top wing here, and I'm going to just make a little flat here, so I can make sure I get my saw in. Now this is really quite a delicate sort of operation, so you need to take it easy. You're coming about 1/8 of an inch inside the wing, and just start to cut down and keep the blade square, but keep an eye on both edges. That's really important. Don't just work down here without looking at the back. You have to look at both. So if you need to, stop, look, move on very carefully. So let's get going. So when you get down to about a little bit above the body, here, you can start twisting the saw this way so that the blade describes a curve back into the block behind it. That's very thin, very bouncy. This is what Carrie calls a teachable moment. I'm not sure this is going to work. Two things. First of all, this wood, which I'm really unfamiliar with, is very much more springy than I'm used to. This is a type of pine, and I'm not sure that has the integrity to do what we want to do with it. The second thing is, down here, I made a bit of a mistake, and I've come in very close with my coping saw. What I did was I wasn't paying attention, and I let the blade twist in its handle, at the handle end here, so it started moving towards the surface. So this is pretty thin at this edge here, although it's thicker at the back. So again, it's a bit thinner than I want, but and it's a bit more flexible than I want. But I'm going to continue. But this might be a disaster, in which case we'll think of something else to do. So this side is better, much more even all the way along, about 1/8 of an inch. So now we're left with taking some of this bit off, which is if you can see here, this is the bit I wanted to leave, somewhere around there. So I need to take a cut here, and a cut below the abdomen here, this sort of way. I've got to make sure I don't go into the head, obviously that I give enough room there. So again, holding my block in the vise, but this time this way. Now while I'm at it, I can probably take a little bit of this wood off here. You can take these little bits off of here as well, as we did before. Very carefully. So here's our little moth with its block underneath to grip, ready to start carving and cleaning up the backside.